And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Seconds away from tip-off of a men's basketball contest between Northwest Florida State College and the Chipola Indians. An outstanding rendition of the national anthem there done by local saxophone player Al Alvarado. If you get a chance to check him out, I highly suggest it. Phenomenal saxophone player, phenomenal musician, and he sets the bar very high for the performance that we expect to see out of these Northwest Florida State College men's basketball players tonight. Chipola, another phenomenal basketball team. The Raiders 16-2 overall on top of the conference by way of having played one more game. They are 2-0 in conference. The Raiders 18-1, the better overall record, but are just 1-0 in conference. And tonight, you are going to see a battle of what I believe are the two best teams in the Panhandle Conference. And to be honest with you, Jeff McDonald, two of the best teams in the country in terms of JUCO basketball. This is going to be a battle.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. You nailed it on the head. Chipola comes in here number 2 in the conference, facing off against our number 1, or not number 1 ranked currently, but sitting atop number 1 of the Panhandle Conference, Northwest Florida State College Raiders. It's going to be a great contest here tonight at Raider Arena.
No doubt, and the crowd is very primed to bring some noise in here tonight after what just happened in that women's game where Chipola never took the lead away from the Raiders, but they hung in and they fought to the very end. We were in the Raider room just a few minutes ago with some of the bigger Raider fans who were all talking about what a phenomenal game that was, and now they are primed and ready for what should be a fantastic contest. Keep in mind, last time we were in this building against Pensacola State College, Northwest Florida State was shooting the lights out of the basketball, and that man right there, number 1, Tyree Jackson, 6 of 6 from behind the arc to start the game. That is how you shoot the basketball. Now we'll find out if they can come out with that same level of momentum, same level of success early. They're going to want to get control of this game from the beginning. Chipola is a team that wants to play with momentum. They want to get up and down the floor. They want to make this a game that they dictate the tempo. Northwest Florida State has to play their basketball game if they want to walk out of here with a victory.
Yeah, we certainly have them from a size perspective, Rob. We're looking at 6'9", being their tallest ball player. We've got 6'10", 6'11" here for the Raiders with Eric Vila. I think the key tonight, Rob, is going to be Chris Duarte getting in there and getting heated up early, maybe getting Tyree Jackson along with him. But Duarte, he's always kind of that engine that keeps his motor running. The oil that keeps his motor running nice and clean. So look for Duarte to get off to a quick start tonight.
Last week it was Duarte and Eric Vila that really did set the tone early in the contest. We'll see if they can do the same thing like you mentioned. This is a physical Chipola team, not the longest team, not the tallest team in the game. So we are going to want to see the Raiders take advantage of having a 7-footer underneath, having Chris Duarte, who can shoot the 3 really well, but is also a very good player when he gets down there on the block. If they can take advantage of those size matchups that will inevitably be created, Northwest Florida State ought to walk out of here with a pretty good showing and hopefully a victory. But again, this is a very good Chipola team, a very fast Chipola team. In fact, we have seen this team produce a handful of D1 transfers over the past couple of years. Simran Bowers, who ended up playing for Auburn, and a handful of others have all come out of the same system underneath head coach Brendan Foley. So we're going to keep an eye on this Chipola team early out of the gate. They're going to want to set the tempo. The Raiders will have to match. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. 40 minutes of basketball underway. Opening tip to Chipola, and we are set here at Raider Arena in Niceville, Florida. Rob Brown on play-by-play. Jeff McDonald alongside me as your color commentator. RJ Murdoch and his crew here at Emerald Coast TV bringing you every Raider home game. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Saturday evening. We'll start with Malik Zachary as your point guard. Is going to give it over to Ibrahima Sankar. Long three-point effort, no good to start, and it's Tyree Jackson with the rebound. Back the other way, Javion Hamlet, who had a huge game last week. Three-pointer, good, bucket. Starts off with the tray. Does Noah Morgan, the sophomore from Mount Vernon, New York, drills it from the corner, and the Raiders take the lead out of the gate.
Yeah, not wasting any time, knocking it down from deep range are the Raiders.
Keyshawn Bruton with the bounce. He gets lucky. It goes in. A 6'2" sophomore from Spartanburg, South Carolina. And we've talked about the international flavor of the two basketball programs the Raiders have put together. Players representing the Dominican Republic, Spain, England, Guadalupe, but no different for Chipola. The Republic of Congo, Senegal, France, Nigeria, and Jamaica all represented on this Chipola roster. As we've got a scrum down on the floor, looked more like a rugby pile for a second, and getting a little chippy early between these two teams, just a minute and a half into the game, and we've already got fellas squaring up underneath the rack.
Yeah, not taking long. It's almost like the Indians are here like they've got something to prove. You know, looking at the rankings, Rob, for the NWFSC currently, you've got the Raiders coming in ranked number 8 in the country, and Chipola checking in at number 11. Maybe they're in here thinking, hey, we're going to earn a little respect here, and the attitudes are certainly flying early.
Long three-pointer, no good to beat the buzzer. Good effort from Chris Duarte to get it off before the red light comes on, but it comes up just a tick shy from about 3 feet outside of the arc, so we're back on the other side. Dribble drive to the right hand, and the floater is no good for Ibrahimina Sankar from Senegal. Kick out to Tyree, who thought about shooting a three. Instead, he drives left, a little hop step over to Vila. Vila had a made three in that last game, too. The 6'11 man. There's a shot, and counted. It's good. Javian Hamlet, the 6'3 redshirt sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee, puts another three up on the board for the Raiders.
And he had a little message for the Indians, number 4, on the way back down. Had a little something for Keyshawn Bruton.
Yeah, these two teams have no problem as the shot goes up and over Eric Vila. Batombe Baruti from Congo, 6'6 sophomore. You're not going to see a lot of guys who are going to be able to get up and over Eric Vila, but he does it there. There's Javian Hamlet working to the inside, picks up his dribble out to Vila. Vila over into the corner. The dribble drive underneath is knocked out of the hands, but the putback is good. Eric Vila with the offensive rebound and the putback. Look at the replay there as he goes up strong between a trio of Indian defenders and kisses it off the glass for a deuce.
Yeah, I was going to say, great touch from Vila off the glass.
And nice little drive to the basket there from Ibrahima Sakari out of Senegal. He just goes one-handed to the rack and gets the deuce off the glass. 8-6, 17 minutes left to play in the first half. Loose ball there, picked up and kicked inside. Wild pass, nearly turned over and last off of the foot of Eric Vila. Vila disagrees with a call there, but a scrum on the floor. And so far, the Raiders have done well when the ball's working around the perimeter. It's when they try to force it to the interior that they've really had problems with possession.
Yeah, Chipola doing a great job of packing it down, or a great job on help side defense, stopping anything inside the paint so far.
On the direction of Malik Zachary, the freshman for Chipola, trying to set up the offense. The kick over for the three-point effort is no good, off long iron for Batumba Barude. And a foul called against Chipola's number 4, Keyshawn Bruton, underneath. Not a smart foul there. You don't want to give these away early because, again, we've already seen how chippy this game got to start. You imagine it's going to get more physical as we continue. You do not want to give away mental issues, mental penalties like that one early because you may need those back late.
Yeah, that was just a cheap one there. No point in that. Just get back down the floor and play defense.
Foul call there as Baruti reached inside to try to knock the ball off the hands. That's going to be an offensive foul call. I got the call backwards. I thought the call was going to be on the reach-in of Baruti, but instead it's going to go against Tyree Jackson, the redshirt sophomore. And a quick turnover from the Raiders there. And Tyree getting into a little verbal altercation with the official on this side. This is another one of those times where both the men's and women's team for the Raiders tend to get a little bit emotional, and we've seen that in the last couple of games. It's a big two-handed slam from Daniel Oladapo from Washington, D.C., a 6'7" freshman who puts that down with authority.
Yeah, definitely. Great job getting down late and flushing it. Great finish.
Chris Duarte puts up the three, and it is no good, off right, but the foul called against Sankari.
Headed to the line for three, it looks like, Rob.
Yeah, Duarte, who had a pretty good night shooting three last time we were in this building against Pensacola State College. Shot around 65% from the arc, and him and Tyree were just monsters from the from three-point land last time around. Duarte can't get that one to fall, but he gets fouled in the process, so he'll get 3 from the stripe.
Yeah, these are always nice to get early in the game, get to the line, get that stroke going, get your rhythm, get comfortable in this ball game from the free throw line. That's going to help you on the next possession when you get ready to shoot that jumper.
Raiders did not shoot exceptionally well from the free throw stripe last time they played at home. 1 for 2 to start for Duarte. He's got a third on the way. Tyree Jackson checks out, replaced by number 14, Kane Henry, the 6'7" sophomore guard from London, England, listed as a guard, but really we saw him last week, pulled a handful of three-pointers, but doesn't mind going in there and getting dirty in the paint if he needs to. Kane Henry, a very utilitarian player, able to play on all spots on the floor.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's really almost positionless. You can put him anywhere. He can get baskets inside, outside, and he also plays great defense. He's got a lot of length to him.
Pass into the middle is Chipola working the ball well around the floor, inside and under, but stolen by Noah. He gets the ball and he's going to go on the breakaway. The inside pass to Henry and the layup. Good steal from Noah. Good effort to find Henry streaking. Great pass and finish from Kane Henry for a pair.
Yeah, way to run the floor by Henry, getting back down the floor quickly to be an open receiver for that pass and the easy bucket.
Drive to the basket, and a charge called against Daniel Oladapo. He did not like the call, but phenomenal charge taken on the inside. Beautiful setting of the feet in the lane, and a turnover committed with a 4-point lead to hang on to. Oladapo started off relatively well so far this evening. Had the big slam earlier. And there's the put-in. Great pass on the backside to Eric Vila. It was Noah Morgan who saw Vila uncontested on the back. Probably could have been an alley-oop, but Vila takes the high percentage dump in and grows the lead.
Vila, a small ball player, especially, obviously around the rim at 6'11". He knows his way around the paint, and he's not too flashy. He's going to take the easy basket and rather than go for the dunk, be a little showy.
Oladapo was in a fight underneath. Foul called on Javion Hemlett. It's going to send Oladapo to the line. Tyree Jackson on the bench. You mentioned Eric Vila being a smart player. We saw that last game. We see it in this one too. Every now and then, Vila gets one of those moments where it looks like he could just go full Shaquille O'Neal to the rim if he wants, but he very rarely does. He's a guy who wants to go high percentage. He's not going to miss anything, not give opportunities to guys to foul him and create misses. He's going to take the highest percentage shot on the floor. Just a very cerebral basketball player.
Absolutely. Gets the job done.
Giving Hemlett to set up the offense.
That's what you love about these Raiders, too. A rather selfless team. It could be anybody on any given night that can be the man. Again,
speaking of Eric Vila, there's the pass onto the inside from a driving Hamlet. A beautiful recognition that the defense collapsed to his side, gives the underneath pass, and another 2 points earned. Inside pass, Oladapo is trapped. There's a long three. Book it. It's good. That's a great shot there from number 4, Keyshawn Bruton, who then talks a little smack to Noah Morgan on the way back down the floor. Those two are going to be jawing at each other for the full 40, I think, Jeff.
Yeah, even with that made bucket, I believe that the zone defense from the Raiders has proven effective because that shot was probably not the best shot. He was almost kind of falling away on that one. Didn't look comfortable, but it did go in. Looks like the ref's having a little conversation with the Indians. Number 4, Keyshawn Bruton, maybe asking him to calm down just a little bit, get a little excited, a little bit of jawing. Eventually that becomes a little bit of a distraction for your teammates.
Hamlet at the stripe to shoot a couple after being fouled on that dribble drive baseline. He knocks down the first one. Substitutions coming up here for the Indians, going with a smaller lineup as we'll see number 3, Malik Zachary, check back in alongside number 1, Chiga Faye. Fatigue is from Fatigue, Senegal, a 6'6" redshirt freshman. Hamlet's second free throw is good. They are 4 of 5 from the stripe to start this game. Pull-up jumper is no good, long iron. Noah gets the rebound, heads back the other way, that is Hamlet. Pass up to Vila. Kane Henry for the tray. No good. Off iron, just shy. Eric Vila can't get the board. Ends up with Keyshawn Bruton. Here comes Bruton back the other way alongside number 2, Laquan Butler. So a small lineup here, although they have checked in. A long three-point effort there is no good off the iron. And Kane Henry in a fight for the rebound. And Kane gets it. Ends up with Malik Zachary, who sets it back up with a full shot clock for the Indians.
You know, in that first game, we were talking about active coaches out here on the floor. And I don't think there's anyone more active than Coach DeMayo for the Raiders.
Christian Loring, a 6'9" freshman from Paris, France, gets the little hoop. Lots of French representatives on these teams that have been playing on the floor tonight. As, again, we've talked about how this place has come a bastion of basketball. We're starting to see an international flavor on all the teams. There's Eric Vila, the inside pass with Javian Hamlet, flexes on him, and Eric Vila with a two-hand jam. Jeff, we talked about he wants the high percentage shots, but if it's him and iron, he didn't mind pulling it down a little bit.
It doesn't get any more high percentage than that, Rob, especially when you're wide open under the basket by yourself. Great job by the Raiders drawing the defense, dropping the ball down low to a wide open Vila for the flush.
Loring tried to go up there between Chris Duarte and Eric Vila, and both of them got a hand on the ball. Duarte is going to be credited for the block there. It's a 6-point game, 12:08 showing on the clock. Possession arrow pointed the direction of the Raiders should it come into play.
Like I was talking about earlier with Coach DeMayo, Rob, just love watching him and how active and involved he is in the entire game, man. He's coaching his heart out over there from start to finish.
Noah Morgan drives to the rack and takes the foul off of Keyshawn Bruton. Bruton, it's second foul on the evening. He's got 5 points to go along with it as well with 11:55 left to play. We've got some company here with the newest Raider mascot, J.R. Raider, standing here getting the fans pumped up and ready to go with a timeout called on the floor. Couple of substitutions checking on here. Number 42, Anthony Mason, the 6'10" freshman from Decatur, Alabama, and Tyree Jackson will make his way back onto the floor as well.
You see that there, Rob. My man's over here trying his best to get the fans involved. The young man buried in his iPad, not too concerned about what's going on here in the ball game. That's something you see every day these days.
Six of 12 from the floor, the Indians. 7 or 10 are the Raiders. 2 of 4 from the stripe is the home team. Just 1 of 5 is Chipola so far. That's from 3-point. From the stripe, 1 of 2 are the Indians. 4 of 5 go the Raiders. 7 rebounds for Northwest Florida State, just 3 for Chipola so far. Your leading scorer in this game at this point is going to be Eric Vila with his 8 points. 5 for Keyshawn Bruton from Chipola, as well as Hamlet for your Raiders. So a pretty solid distribution of the basketball for the Raiders so far. 6 players have gone on the floor for the Raiders. All but 1 has scored. The only one that hasn't is Tyree Jackson, and you can expect he's going to find the bottom of the basket very soon.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But right now, just doing a great job of playing solid defense and distributing the basketball on the offensive end of the floor, getting other people involved, getting them going. His time will come.
Just inside of 12 minutes left to go in the basketball game, first half of the basketball game here at Northwest Florida State College. Rob Brown, Jeff McDonald along for the ride with you. RJ Murdoch and the crew of Emerald Coast TV bringing you all of the action this evening. There's the impact pass to Kane Henry up to Chris Duarte, and he'll reset the offense at the top of the key. Chipola playing a one-on-one man defense. Duarte's going to drive, turn around, spin for the 3. No good, won't go. Rebounds up for grabs and taken in by Chipola. That's number 3, Malik Zachary. He'll drive back to the far side. We're going to have a foul called against Kane Henry. No, excuse me, that's going to be number 4, Noah Morgan, down to the corner. It's a blocking foul call.
Yeah, on the closeout, just a little out of control, lost his footing, falls into the Indian ball player, draws the foul.
So we'll have the inbound underneath the basket on the home team side. There's the pass, and the 3 ball is no good. Rebounded by Noah Morgan. Got to say, Noah Morgan, maybe the flashiest footwear on the floor tonight. That hot pink and teal green on the kicks of Noah Morgan. I kind of like it.
Yeah, you cannot miss him here in the Raider arena tonight, that's for sure.
Anthony Mason lost control, and it ends up back in the Indians' hands. They'll drive back the other way. Dribble drive the baseline, but underneath too far, and it won't go. Whistle blown on the foul on the backside by the official. Stepped out of bounds, did the driving Indian.
Yeah, Bruton may be trying to do a little too much right now, going in amongst the Giants, and instead just maybe pull it out or look for a teammate to drop it off to.
Talk about mind games quite frequently, and there's been no shortage of them so far between Keyshawn Bruton and a couple of different Raiders this evening. You got to wonder if that over-aggressiveness is going to get. There he is. We told you it'd only be a matter of time before Tyree Jackson finds the bottom of the bucket, and he does it there with a long three.
Yeah, and Chipola better do a good job of closing out on Tyree, or he's going to get hot and stretch this lead from 9 to 11 or 12 on this next possession.
Battle of the big men underneath is Christian Loring is one-on-one with Anthony Mason. Mason reached in and got the foul called, and that's going to be another one of those battles to keep an eye out on, while Eric Vila is the taller of the two between he and 6'10" Anthony Mason. Mason is the muscle down underneath there, and he's going to have to bring every bit of it against Christian Loring, who is a big, thick five-man.
Yes, he is. That is definitely a wide body, taking up a lot of room in the paint.
Loring gives it up to the outside to Malik Zachary. He'll reset the offense. Here's Bruton. Bruton's going to kick it to the corner. Long three-point effort is up and well long, but the rebound brought down by Loring, and he puts it right back off the glass for the deuce.
Yeah, Raiders going to have to do a better job of blocking out down here on the defensive side of the ball. When the ball goes up, you got to find a man and put a body on him and keep him off the glass.
Duarte with a spin move, but he loses control. It's on the ground. There's Noah Morgan with the hustle to come up with the ball, and it's off the foot of number 3, Malik Zachary. The Chipola contingent not happy. Their head coach, Brendan Foley, out there screaming that it should go the other direction.
Reverse on the call, looks like.
Substitution made. Chris Duarte will make his way to the bench. On comes Javion Hamlet, the redshirt sophomore, to take over that guard position. And very dangerous when you have him, Henry, and Tyree Jackson on, 3 of the better three-point shooters in this conference, all working the perimeter. Noah Morgan and underneath Anthony Mason to control the ball through the interior. There's a three-point shot. It's going to come up well short. Not the best shot selection there for number 13, Daniel Oladapo. He's more of an interior shooter. He's had 2 efforts at 3, and neither one has touched iron.
Yeah, you could tell that was definitely outside of his range. Got to feeling a little too comfortable behind the stripe.
A couple of substitutions here. Eric Vila will check back in, replace Noah Morgan. So now you've got the 2 biggest players on the Raiders squad. 6'10" Anthony Mason, 6'11" Eric Vila on the floor together. Still that three-point shooting lineup at the top, including that man, number 1, Tyree Jackson. Jackson with a step-back 3. Book it! 2 for 2 from behind the arc. He throws up the 3, and he has been in fuego the past 3 games.
Without a doubt, Tyree Jackson is heating up here tonight.
Travel call against Chief Fay. That's another turnover. That's going to be the 3rd turnover of the night. We are squared in turnovers so far. Both teams have 3 so far. Raiders shooting 64.3% from the floor, 57% from behind the arc.
That's the difference, 4 or 5 from the line, taking advantage of their free throw attempts, protecting the basketball. I love seeing that low number in the turnover category, especially for the Raiders.
Tyree getting trapped down in the corner, ends up finding Kane underneath. Here's Vila working the ball up towards the top. Back to Tyree, launches it with 7 on the shot clock. Can't get the friendly roll.
You just can't help but feel like it's going to find its way in the game when it comes, or into the basket when it comes off of Tyree Jackson's fingers.
One of the hardest things to do is not get carried away when a guy's been shooting the way that Tyree Jackson's been shooting, not to prematurely call that three-pointer good. Speaking of footwear, props to Coach DeMayo. You'll see when the camera spins here in just a minute. Rocking out here with the lime green kicks that perfectly complement
the
tie on the sideline. Props to Coach DeMayo bringing the fashion to the sideline.
So fashion forward out here. I can't even keep up.
He's been talking to Jeff McDonald for those fashion forward tips lately.
Hey, listen, that's what I do. Last week we're out here and you're calling my pants millennial pants. I don't know what to say about that. It's just you're jealous you can't wear them.
Two-hand slam from Kane Henry, the fast as Hamlet and the squad get the fans up out of their seats. It was a quick, easy layup from Chick-fil-A, but no time wasted as the Raiders turn it around, head back the other way, and Kane Henry, the threat to score from anywhere, does it from as close as you can get with a two-hand tomahawk.
Such a versatile young man. And I'm telling you, when he's coming down with a full head of steam, look out. He flushed that one hard and strong.
That ESPN Top 10 theme from the Niceville Eagles jam band up in the corner may not have been any more appropriate all evening long than it is after that Kane Henry two-hand slam off the long transition fast break steal from the Raiders. So as it stands right now, 6 points for Tyree Jackson on a pair of three-pointers, 5 for Hamlet, 8 for Eric Vila, 4 for Henry, 3 for Morgan, a pair for Duarte. There's your 28. On the flip side, no one with more than 5 for the Indians. That's 5 for Bruton, 4 for Sankari, for Lorne, a pair for Barute, a pair for Butler, and 1 from the free throw stripe from Oladapo. 10 of 16 from the floor go the Raiders, 8 of 18 are Chipola. 4 of 8 from the stripe are the Raiders, 1 of 8 for the Indians. That's where we find ourselves with 8:27 left to play in the first half. And what's been a relatively competitive game, but what the Raiders have done that we said they needed to do coming into this game, anytime the Indians have gone on any sort of run, the Raiders pull back, reset the game, and declare that this is the tempo we're going to play at tonight.
Yeah, just a very efficient ball game so far for the Raiders here tonight. Shooting great from the floor, from the stripe, playing great defense as well. Can't find a weakness in our game so far in this contest.
Just a tick under 8.5 minutes left to play here in the first half. A 9-point lead for the home team, the Raiders. Look at Steve DeMayo. He's on the sideline getting the crowd pumped now. The Raiders are just feeling it. The inbounds pass successful. And here come the Indians back the other way. And that's going to be a kick ball from Eric Vila running the point on the full court press.
Up at the top, perhaps trying to use his length to create some issues with the passing lanes for the Indians in the press. Did we give a little shout out there to Coach DeMayo?
Coach DeMayo with the lime green kicks and the lime green tie, getting the fans pumped. And you can tell the players love playing for Steve DeMayo. He gets them excited, and that energy certainly transfers to the team. There's the dribble drive of the ball knocked out of the hands of number 2, Laquan Butler.
I've spent some time talking to his assistants, man, and they absolutely do. They love him, and they love the opportunity to soak up all that knowledge and wisdom. He is, without a doubt, probably the best head basketball coach from the men's side of things in the Panhandle Conference and maybe even the country. Does a great job here, recruiting, coaching, you name it. From the top of the list to the bottom, Coach DeMayo does an excellent job.
Booked the three-pointer for Cameron Gooden, the 5'11 freshman from Frisco, Texas. He gets the Indians back within 6, 27-21, 8 minutes showing on the clock. And this is what we talked about. Big three-pointer there could change momentum, but you'll notice that this time down the floor, Noah Morgan and company, that's Javion Hamlet and company, slow the offense down, set the offense up, looking for Eric Vila on the inside there. They say he was last to touch it, Indian basketball on a turnover.
Yeah, good idea. Nice attempt at the curl pass. Just not quite enough room to get it in there to him.
Substitution made. Ken Henry will come off. Anthony Mason will come on. So now the 2 tallest players on the roster once again back on the floor for Northwest Florida State. Is Coach DeMayo happy to take advantage of that size matchup that we talked about to start the game. There's the dribble drive up and no good. The foul called. It's an offensive foul called there. That's going to be against number 13, Daniel Oladapo. That is Oladapo's first foul on the evening. And we'll come back the other way with Hamlet in charge of the offense.
Yeah, yet to really see Duarte get heated up. Look out. Once he starts dropping a few, you're going to start to see this game and that lead stretch as we get through the end of this first half. Tyree
inside to Mason. Mason back around to Vila. Vila with the dribble drive and the look underneath and a foul as Mason goes to the floor hard. How about my man Eric Vila with the two-hand drive in and throws a beautiful bounce pass across the lane to find his fellow big man, Anthony Mason.
Court vision. You put Vila anywhere on the floor, he's going to make smart decisions. And Coach DeMayo showing a lot of trust in the big man, putting him at the top of the key and putting him in control of things on the break, just doing a fabulous job so far.
Mason bangs home the first of a pair, 5 of 6 from the stripe so far this evening of the Raiders.
Trey Diggs, number 11, into the game now, the Niceville native. Always good to see him get in. Great shooter from the perimeter. Maybe see him get heated up here before the half.
Vila and Mason, your front court. You've also got Hamlet, Duarte, and now Trey Diggs in for your 5 for the Raiders. The Indians back the other way. They'll reset the entire offense there through number 22, Cameron Gooden. Gooden knocked down that 3 just a few minutes ago that has kept this game within reach for the Indians. Gooden drives, pulls the ball back out. Another 3-point effort from him and another make. It's good.
Yeah, great job by Chipola, number 22, Cameron Gooden, just pulling it back out, creating some space, knocking down the jumper.
4-point ball game here, 6:40 left to play. Here's Noah. Noah's going to pop a 3. Can't find it off the iron, and a pair of Indians come down with the rebound, and we're back the other way. Here's Gooden looking ahead to Bruton. Bruton back to Gooden. Gooden with another 3. No good off the iron, and Eric Vila comes down with the rebound there. Hamlet on the fast break, kicks it to the outside. Duarte for a tray, no good, off. But he's fouled in the process. Not the best foul there for the Indians. Duarte missed everything. It was an air ball from the corner, but got a little bit of help there as he took one off the hand, and is now at the 3 free throw opportunity for Chris Duarte.
I'm going to tell you what, Rob Brown, the quickness out of the guards from this Northwest Florida Raider team is mind-boggling sometimes. You see Hamlet get a ball on the break, and he's up and down the floor in a split second. Does a great job handling the ball and then also finding a wide-open ball player for an easy shot.
And one of the things that I like about this is they are so good at switching gears between those two speeds. They can bring the ball down, set up the offense behind Hamlet, set up the offense behind Jackson, behind Morgan. They can come down and run a very controlled offense that is based on the draw board of Coach DeMayo over there. On the flip side, if they see any weakness, if they see one defender out of position, they can throw that sucker into high gear and be down the floor before you can blink. And it's happened to us a couple of times where we look up to see who's got a rebound, and before we know it, we've got a transition basket.
Absolutely. Cannot lose focus against this Northwest Florida Raiders team when they're on the offensive side of the ball. You just cannot afford to lose focus.
Third free throw effort is good for Duarte.
And the beauty of it, too, Rob, is when you see we continue to make substitutions, there's really not much of a drop-off between the first team and the second team. So that's trouble for our fellow Panhandle Conference ball team.
Gooden with a drive to the layup. Too strong off the glass. Eric Vila, the point guard, the 6'11" point guard, brings it up the floor. Over to Noah, and he drives, but he can't handle it, can't get it to go. Good pass from Vila to set up the driving Javion Hamlet, but he couldn't get it off the glass, and it's another shot for the Indians. There's a 3 ball, no good off the glass. Rebound and put back by number 1, Shake Faye. And he is fouled on his way up. That foul called against Javion Hamlet, so Faye will head to the stripe for a couple on the shooting foul.
I believe they're going to call that one on the floor. Looks like we got a timeout now.
5:47 on the clock. The Raiders are in bonus with 9 fouls against Chipola so far. And again, competitive game, although the score is stretched out. It's been as far away as 8. It's been as close as 3 in the past 5 minutes. And Chipola, again, a team that probably doesn't have the height that Northwest Florida State does. They've gone a couple of times with both Mason and Eric Vila, a pair of 6'10" plus guys out there on the floor. They don't have the height, but that does not stop Chipola from driving to the basket. Not just driving to the basket, but distributing very well once they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Very smart basketball tonight so far from the Raiders. Not too many bad decisions. Very light on the turnover side of things. Like I said earlier, can't really find anything to complain about so far from this Raider performance.
3 of 12 from the three-point line is Chipola, and as of right now, that's really the biggest difference so far. 10 of 23 from the floor go the Indians. 10 of 18 are the Raiders. They're 4 of 9 from behind the arc on the back of Tyree Jackson, who's 2 of 3. The only one he missed was a very hotly contested 3 that he put up against the shot clock. 8 of 10 from the stripe for the Raiders. 1 of 2 from the stripe are Chipola, as we see that Name That Tune game going on again, and every time they play this game with these kids, Jeff McDonald, I turn another couple of hairs gray.
It's shameful. It really is. Kind of breaks my heart.
Say My Name by Destiny's Child, by Beyonce and those other Destiny's Childs. That thing was the jam when I was coming out of high school. I don't think these kids were born when Beyonce was in Destiny's Child still.
No, I mean, I don't believe they were when she was shaking that jelly, if you know what I'm talking about. But
look at Chris Duarte with a steal. He's got an open foot race to the basket and a one-hand jam. Number 5 with the one-handed put down.
We were talking about the jelly, but we should have mentioned the jam from Chris Duarte. Great job.
33-24 and one bag segue here in this game. Well done, Jeff McDonald. Here come back the other way. Morgan's going to go to the rack himself. And Noah Morgan with the finish. The 6'5 sophomore from New York gives his team an 11-point lead.
Yeah, Raiders turning up the defensive intensity. We're stretching this lead now out to 11. Raiders are on fire. Chipola needs a bucket and a stop.
Oh, Chris Duarte thought he had the big block there. He comes away real upset, as do a couple of other Raiders. Thought he pinned that one clean up against the rim, but the foul called against number 5 is going to send the big man, Christian Loring, to the stripe for a couple.
Coach DeMayo looks like he was looking for a jump ball on that one, but hey, this is what you need if you're the Indians. Just a little something to slow the game down, get to the free throw line, hopefully make 2. He's already missed the front end, but a little something to slow this Raider team down.
Yeah, this moments where the Raiders go on those runs like they did ordinarily, you'd see a timeout. This can be just as good as one if you can knock down the free throws. Loring misses the front end of a pair. Second one is good, drops the strings, and makes this a 10-point game with just over 5 minutes left to play in the first half. Duarte over to Diggs. Diggs back to Duarte. Indians playing a little tighter defense around the perimeter at this point. Here's Duarte with the drive. He goes over to Vila. Vila comes up with it, fights and gets the deuce. Eric Vila in the middle of a pair of Indian defenders goes up strong, lost the ball, fights it up off the floor, and ends up kissing it off the glass for a couple and a chance to earn a third.
Yeah, just call Vila Mr. Efficiency. Just so comfortable around the rim. Great job knocking it down. Let's see if we can finish off the three-point play here at the line.
The 6'11 redshirt sophomore from Girona, Spain, drops down the third, and it's now a 13-point game with 4:48 left to play. Not much separating these two teams in the record. Northwest Florida State College 2-0 in conference play as Vila almost had a clean block, but Christian Loring fights through it. That's a good offensive play from the big man for Chipola.
Yeah, Christian Loring just so strong. Gets it up, even with Vila's hand on the ball, gets it up off the glass and in.
Look at that left-handed runner from Jaden Hamlet. His offhand as he floats across the free throw line and gets it to go. The three-point panic effort on the other end ends up back with Hamlet. And here's Hamlet leading the offense again. Spits it out to the right. There's Trey Diggs. Niceville's own. Can't come up. It's off the iron, and it's rebounded by the Indians, Baruti. Baruti goes coast to coast, puts it up over Villa, but he can't get it to go, and that's one thing that's difficult. You might get it over Eric Vila at 6'11", but to put the right angle to kiss it off the glass is very difficult to do when he's fully outstretched.
Yeah, that's a lot of length right there, Rob, to get the ball up and over. Good looking shot on that last possession by Diggs. Got to keep shooting it, young fella. It's going to fall.
Hamlet with the dribble drive off of the crossover. He gets the left-hand layup to go, and it's 42-27.
Hamlet just getting to the basket whenever he wants to. Great job.
Butler can't get it up and over Vila, and we've seen that a couple of times in a row now. The Indians are doing a nice job of driving to the basket and getting some opportunities. The problem is every time they go, they find the number 10, 6'11 big man on the inside with those arms outstretched. Every time they try to go over Vila, they just can't get the right angle to get the ball to drop.
No, sir. Vila just doing a great job of being in position. Such a smart basketball player. Fun to watch.
40.7% from the Forest Chipola. 62.5% right now are the Raiders of Northwest Florida State College. There's Vila with the inside pass. How about that pass? Eric Vila's flex on him, young man. He has been, and I'm going to give Eric Vila credit because for standing 6'11", you don't expect this. He has some of the best distribution from that free throw line extended that we've seen out of a big man at this school in a long time.
Yeah, you get him the ball up around the free throw and just let him do his thing. Flash to the basket, and he'll find you.
2:45 left to play. 3-point from Trey Diggs. No good off the iron again, but how about the rebound there? Strong rebound from Noah Morgan. Back over to Diggs, and Diggs finishes at that point. Don't give up. Follow your shot. You get another opportunity. Trey Diggs on the board with his first 2 of the night. And Noah Morgan gets the crowd up out of their seats as the Raiders are threatening a 20-point lead with inside of 2.5 left to play in the first half.
Yeah, man, just great hustle by Trey, staying with it. You know, that's a great lesson to any young guys out there watching these ball games. You take a couple shots, you miss. It doesn't mean you put your head down and you get down on yourself. You keep playing the game. Trey finds an easy bucket.
You and I have watched a lot of basketball together, Jeff, and one of the things we've noticed is that with this generation, it's easy to see sometimes that players can get a little discouraged if those first couple of shots don't just immediately drop. What you need to do is what Trey Diggs did there. He missed a couple of threes in a row, so what's he do? Well, let's get closer. Let's go to the basket. Let's work on offensive rebounds. Let's get those second chance putbacks. Now Trey Diggs is on the board with a pair.
Yeah, kids these days are driven so hard on emotions. And, you know, you heard The Rock the other day talking about this snowflake generation, and they do get down real quick and easy. Although The Rock did come out and deny that he actually said that. But I hate to say that I do believe to an extent it's true. Kids these days get down so quickly. You watch them play ball, you watch them in any facet of life. You need some resiliency, and there's just a small example of being resilient. Handling a little adversity, miss a couple shots, stay with it, hustle, work hard, and you find an easy bucket. Love that.
11 of 28 from the floor are the Indians. 17 of 27 from the floor are the Raiders. 3 of 10 from behind the arc for Northwest Florida State. 3 of 13 for the Indians so far. So for the most part, we're talking a pretty similar offensive output. The only difference is just a little higher level of success from the floor for the Raiders. Not by very much, but that's been good enough for a 19-point lead.
Absolutely.
And to be honest with you, Jeff, the Indians really aren't doing anything wrong. They're just having a tough time finishing from the inside. But that time they don't. Strong to the basket goes number 13. Daniel Oladipo gets the foul as well, and he'll get an opportunity for a third.
Yeah, right on cue as we're talking about them struggling. He goes in strong and finishes and gets to the line.
Some fashion advice coming the way of Chris Duarte being told to get those tails inside the shorts. He's going, man, I'm 6'6". They don't really make jerseys that long, but free throw is good for Oladipo.
You know, it's that whole look good, feel good, play good, right?
Hey, man, I've said on the radio for many years, look good, play good, win good. That's how it goes, man. That's why I dress like I dress, Jeff. Dress like a winner. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. That takeaway is going to come back the other way for the Indians, and the slam is good there for the big man from Senegal, Sheikh Faye, the 6'6" redshirt freshman on the breakaway in the slam. And look at Bruton. Bruton just smiling as Hamlet comes down. He's been more than happy to play in the heads of these Raider team, but again, tough to look at a man and say it's working when your team's been threatened to trail by 20. Long three from Duarte off the front of the iron. Tipped back out, though, by Eric Vila to Noah Morgan on the rebound. Morgan thought about it. He's going to drive to the inside, out to Vila. Vila for the three, but a blocking foul called underneath, so the three-pointer won't count from Eric Vila. A blocking foul called underneath against number 11, Simeon Jermian. He's a 6'9" freshman from Lagos, Nigeria, another that international player on the roster on the floor tonight.
Yeah, you look up and down these rosters for the men's and women's teams from both sides of the ball. You've got young men and young ladies from all over the world. It's interesting to see.
And one of the things we've seen the past couple of years is Morgan puts up the first free throw and gets the friendly bounce off the rim. One of the things you've noticed is that a lot of D1 schools, you're seeing especially SCCA, ACC schools from this area, they're looking to Northwest Florida State. They're looking to Chipola. They're looking to Pensacola State, and they're trying to find some of these players who can transfer up to D1 and go help win some games. And you're seeing this become kind of a breeding ground, kind of a developmental ground for a lot of international players who maybe don't get recruited to those D1 schools because they just don't have the access to a basketball team like they would in Senegal or Nigeria or Honduras. So they come to the smaller schools, the Chipolas and the Northwest Florida States. They develop their game under the likes of Steve DeMeo, and then all of a sudden, letter offers from Florida State and Auburn start showing up on the doorstep, and you get an opportunity to go play big-time scholarship ball, even if you're not from this country.
No, I think you nailed it. The exposure is what makes it so attractive here at this level of junior college basketball. So Northwest Florida State College goes out and gets the absolute best.
Up and under for Javion Hamlet with a left-handed reverse layup. Nice finish from Hamlet. That's a tough way to go when you go scooping underneath from the far side with the defender in your face. Tough way to finish, but he does it. There's a drive kick out to the three-point line. Step back, and the three-point effort is no good off the iron for Chick Fay. But the offensive rebound bounces around. There's a corner three-pointer. This one is going to be good. That's Batumba Baruti from the Congo who knocks down the three. 24 seconds left on the clock. Shot clock is turned off, so the Raiders have the opportunity to take the last shot of the first half.
Yeah, unfortunately, we shoot ourselves in the foot there. Our guys going up together for the rebound, giving it up, give up a three on that last possession.
So here's Hamlet. Hamlet kicks it to Vila. Vila for three. Oh, I thought he was going to have another one. He got one the last time we were here, but it comes off the iron to the left and no good for Eric Vila. A little frustrated there, but again, at 6'11", that's more of an opportunity than it is a guaranteed finish.
Yeah, now unfortunately we're going to send the Indians to the line, sitting on a 16-point lead. Give them too many opportunities right here at the end of the first half.
Foul underneath on the rebound with 2.3 seconds left. The Raiders in double bonus, Chipola in the single bonus. We're going to have a substitution here as Malik Zachary makes his way off and Gooden comes on for the Indians. Substitution for the Raiders as well. Tyree Jackson will step on and replace Chris Duarte, who heads to the bench to the applause of Raider fans behind the Northwest Florida State College bench. Here's Batumba Baruti, and the first free throw is good, so what should have been, arguably, a last shot of the half for the Raiders is going to give at least 1 point to the Indians heading into the half.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were hoping to maybe notch another two here before the half and grow the lead, and instead we're going in the opposite direction.
May still have a chance to, as the second free throw from Baruti is good. So there's Morgan with the pass to Jackson with the three-quarter length shot. It is way long. He's strong. I hate that that one's going to count against him as he flexes that bicep walking off. Say, I'm too strong. I don't know my own strength. He'll head to the locker room, as will the rest of the Raider basketball team, holding on to a 51-37 lead heading into halftime. Solid performance from the Raiders to start. Got a little shaky there for just a couple of minutes in the middle of the second portion of the first half of the game, but top to bottom, not really a lot to be unhappy with if you're the Raiders. The shots are falling really well. You're in the neighborhood of 61% from the floor. You're shooting relatively well from the three-point line. If that Tyree Jackson three-pointer from three-quarter to end the half would have gone in, it'd have looked better. 25% from the three-point line. You knock that one off, you're looking at the mid-30%, which is not a bad place to be so far. 10 of 13 from the stripe. You've limited them to just 7 three-point efforts. They're 5 of 7. 5 turnovers to their 6, 20 rebounds. The glass has been owned by the Raiders so far. The one spot I would say is in that interior possession, there's been a couple of moments where they've really panicked with the basketball when they get it close to the glass, Jeff. Eric Vila's had a decent game. Anthony Mason's had a decent game. You'd like to see them maybe own the paint a little more, considering that they do own a pretty significant height advantage when they go with that full big man lineup. But overall, for the most part, Jeff, not a lot to be disappointed with if you're Steve DeMeo ending that first half.
No, not at all. As you can see here on the stat sheet, Hamlet and Vila really kind of running the show for us in the first half. There at the end, you would love to have seen us do a better job protecting the defensive glass and finishing strong on the defensive side of the ball. Gave up an easy three and then also sending someone to the line. So that's what cost us right there at the end. Other than that, if I'm really just searching for something, maybe we could do a little bit better job on the boards. Outside of that, strong first half. We could maybe improve a little bit from behind the line. We missed a few there in that near the back side of that second half. But all in all, great first half for the Raiders. Just keep doing what you're doing, playing great defense, finding each other on the offensive side of the ball, taking good shots, smart shots. Keep getting it to Vila up around the free throw line. Let him distribute, flash to the basket, and we'll go home tonight with a W.
You're looking for a plus 90% success rate when you're talking about big men from inside of 4 or 5 feet, and so far that's what you've got. Eric Vila, 6 of 7 from the floor. All but one of those have been inside. The one miss, that three-pointer with 2.3 seconds left to go, where he was waiting for that last shot. 5 of 7 from Javion Hamlet. He's 1 of 2 from behind the arc, 2 of 2 from the stripe as well. 5 of 6 from the free throw line is Chris Duarte. Problem for him, he's 1 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 3 from behind the arc. So the hot hand that Chris Duarte had last home game did not carry over to this one, but he's had his opportunities at the stripe, and he's converted so far. So got to say, top to bottom, not really a lot to be disappointed about. If you're Steve DeMayo headed into the halftime, what you would like to see, like you mentioned, maybe a little stronger on the glass. The height advantage of Eric Vila and Chris Duarte is impressive, but you've got to utilize it. They didn't really do that in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that's something they could definitely leverage a little bit more so in the second half. But look out. If you look at Tyree Jackson, he took 3 shots, knocked down 2, really didn't shoot the ball that much, and we talked about his previous game here at home where he knocked down 6 threes. So he's not really looking for his shot, but second half I would look for him to start shooting the ball a little bit more. And then maybe get Henry back in the game. He came in, played some very valuable minutes in the first half, made a good difference on the defensive side of the ball, which transitioned into some easy offensive buckets. So look for Henry to get a little bit more involved as well in the second half. And then you got Duarte sitting there 1 for 5, but still really, if you're just looking at it, looks like he's playing a good ball game within himself, just missing a few shots. So I look for him to get heated up in the second half as well. So start contributing a little bit more, start knocking down some buckets.
We'll go ahead and take a quick halftime break. When we come back here in just a few minutes, we'll run you through the rest of the first half stats and get you set up for tip-off of the second half of this basketball game between Northwest Florida State College and Chipola College. I'm Rob Brown, he's Jeff McDonald, RJ Murdoch and the crew of Emerald Coast TV bringing you all the action right here at Raider Arena in Niceville. We'll be right back. Thanks for hanging with us, folks.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit nwfsc.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
Vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit nwfsc.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit NWFSC.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit NWFSC.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit NWFSC.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
This is where you live, learn, and play. Northwest Florida State College now offers a degree in hospitality and tourism, where you can train with a nationally recognized college in a globally recognized resort area. This is where you start building the foundation for your future. This is Northwest Florida, and the best is our standard. Visit bearaider.com to learn more.
Did you know Northwest Florida State College waives all state, college, and course fees for all active duty military tuition assistance students? NWF is committed to serving our military. Visit nwfsc.edu or call 850-678-5111 to learn more. Register today to design your future at Northwest Florida State College.
A vacation you can count on. Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island. Visit emeraldcoastfl.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Raider Arena. Just a couple of minutes away from the tip-off of second half action, and there you have the smooth, sultry sounds of Al Alvarado serenading the Raider fans who have turned out en masse for your game of the week here on Emerald Coast TV. I am Rob Brown, Jeff McDonald here as well. Al plays around the Fort Walton Beach, Destin, Niceville area. You can find him on Facebook at Al Alvarado, a phenomenal saxophone player. As a musician myself, I can tell you, I respect the heck out of what that man can do right there with some jazz music. So if you get an opportunity, check out Al Alvarado and go see him play locally. I know he does a number of brunches throughout the area and entertains the masses. Rob Brown, Jeff McDonald with you here. As we were just talking a minute ago of all the hype-up songs I've ever heard, Jeff McDonald, Al Alvarado is bringing it today.
You know, if that doesn't get you fired up, Rob Brown, I don't know what will.
What will? That's exactly right.
Some Kenny G going, something like that, you know. Anytime I hear those horns, I think about Careless Whisper.
Little George Michael never hurt anybody, you know. That's exactly right. Little Wham with an exclamation point.
Hey, Google sexy sax man and just watch the videos that come up. Have you ever seen this guy?
Yes.
Wow.
I just like that my partner in crime is bringing internet memes to the conversation as we're ready for second half basketball here at Raider Arena. 20 minutes between the Northwest Florida State College Raiders and a definitive grasp on the #1 spot in the Panhandle Conference. Back in the first half, we have got 51 on the board, led by Eric Vila and Julian Hamlet, who have 13 apiece. You've got 7 from Chris Duarte to lead your Raiders. The Indians will start with the basketball back on the other end of the floor, and we are underway here in the second half. Indians need to come out and set the tempo. That basket will be no good, waved off on a foul called on the floor. That's a pushing foul called underneath. It's going to go against #1, Tyree Jackson. That is his second foul on the afternoon, and it'll give the Indians the inbounds underneath the basket. Pass up to the top, brought down by Keyshawn Bruton. Bruton had a decent first half, but again, more of the mental games out of Bruton as he was trying to get into the heads of a number of Raider players, setting up the offense back down into the corner. Dribble down to the baseline, spin move, and resets the offense. Does Malik Zachary. Now he goes back to the baseline and tries to kick it to the inside, ends up into the hands of number 13, Daniel Oladapo, in those lime green shoes he's wearing.
I don't think those were on his feet in the first half.
I don't think they were either. I feel like we'd have both noticed.
Absolutely. You mentioned Bruton.
Look who he's matched up with. You got the lime green of him and Noah Morgan with those hot pink on the other hand. If those two fellas run into each other, they're going to bring the some sort of parallel universe into play with those shoes.
Shoes on shoes.
Tyree with a step back three, but he can't get it. Felt good when he released it, and then the turnover from
looked good.
Looked like it was going to be a turnover to Chris Duarte, but he can't hang on to the basketball, and the Indians maintain control back on the other end, and a foul called underneath. Excuse me, it was not a foul call. The ball just went out of bounds, so we'll reset that offense. Back up to the top, there's Bruton, and he'll go in and get the easy kiss off the glass. Raider defense split right down the middle for Keyshawn Bruton, and he took advantage.
Yeah, he certainly did. Bruton did a lot of talking in the first half, not too much action, but a good start for him here in the second half.
7 points, a pair of rebounds, 5 in the first half for Keyshawn Bruton on the scoreboard as Chris Duarte drives to the rack and gets the lean-in layup to fall. Lead back down to 12 now, was as high as 17 and 19 at one point to end that half, but Pensacola with a couple of big shots, couple of mental mistakes from the Raiders to end the half. There's Morgan, and he is going to go down hard. That's going to be Ibrahim Sankari from Senegal, who takes Noah Morgan all the way to the floor. It looked like Morgan was going to try to rise up and jam that thing down, but recognized he had a big man bearing down on him, and instead just goes to the ground and heads to the free throw strike.
Yeah, better off drawing the foul rather than going up, getting undercut and breaking your neck.
Morgan's first free throw is strings, 11 of 14 from the stripe of the Raiders so far.
And you notice Morgan likes to wear those long sleeves underneath his jersey. I've always wondered how guys can do that. It always used to bother me anytime I'm trying to shoot with long sleeves. Even with them pushed up, you wonder how that doesn't impact his jump shot.
Second free throw is no good, so now 11 of 15 are the Raiders, and we're back the other way with the Indians. Here's Bruton. Bruton against Tyree. He's going to give it over. Now Bruton gets the ball back. He tries for the long three. Gets short iron. No good. Morgan with the rebound, and he'll lead the offense back the other way. Ahead to Hamlet. Hamlet's going to work one-on-one. He'll drive, go up with the left hand, and gets the fall.
Hamlet just unstoppable when it comes to getting to the basket. Finishing that one off.
We talked about the ability to shift gears. He had that thing at almost a stop at the top of the key. When he saw just a little bit of daylight, as up and under goes Batumba Baruti for the Indians. When Hamlet saw there was a spot, he went from 0 to 60 on the real quick to get that layup.
Yeah, absolutely. His motor is just unreal.
Eric Vila hands it off to Tyree Jackson, and you know Jackson's always looking to pull the trigger inside to Vila. Vila back out to the three-point line. Back to Jackson. Thought about the long three, instead drives and draws the foul against Daniel Oladapo. That's a good move from Tyree. Recognized that Oladapo, the big man, doesn't have the speed he has and was flat-footed and just drove right into him. Good heads-up play from Tyree Jackson.
You love the patience by these Raiders. Just working the ball around, not taking bad shots, looking for the next open man, ultimately finding great shots, great looks at the basket.
Hamlet at the top of the key, kicks it back out to Duarte. The ball knocked out of Duarte's hands, but he goes down to the ground and gets it. Pull-up three over an outstretched arm, and he gets it to fall right over the hand of Batumba Baruti. A well-contested 3-0 Baruti can do when Duarte's throwing darts like that.
Yeah, you saw Duarte do a little bit of a two-step right there, getting his feet set, getting in rhythm, and knocking that one down with a hand right in his face.
Tough to do, but nothing Baruti could have done any better than that. He was right in Duarte's face, had his hand up and in the air, and short of fouling Duarte, which has happened twice. So far, Chris Duarte's been fouled twice on three-point efforts, short of sending him to the line for another 3 free throw opportunities. Baruti couldn't have done anything more, and Duarte took advantage. Great shot on a well-contested three-pointer.
Absolutely. Duarte gets heated up. That's going to cause a lot of trouble for these Indians. Already down 16 here in the second half. They don't want Duarte to get going, because then they've got to worry about Duarte. They got to worry about Hamlet getting to the basket. You got to worry about Vila. Then you got to worry about Tyree Jackson being left open. So many weapons on the floor here for these Raiders.
Duarte 1 of 4. He's got that three-pointer, but he's 3 of 7 from the floor. 5 of 6 from the charity stripe, however. So while he's only made the one three-pointer, of the other three-pointers, he's basically earned 2 of them from the free throw stripe, which you really can't ask for a whole heck of a lot more than that.
No, getting it the old school way.
Panhandle with 15, 13 for Vila, 12 for Duarte are your scoring leaders across both teams so far in this matchup. 16:50 showing on the clock here in the second half of play.
And that just really is kind of the proof in the pudding there, Rob, in terms of what we talked about, just with the talent level across the board from the first team to the second team. The scoring really well balanced.
And a travel called there on the big man. It was a drive to the inside for number 13, Daniel Oladapo, who's really kind of struggling. He started out strong, but has had some issues with possession of the basketball. Changed those shoes at halftime like we talked about. Went from the All Blacks to the lime greens there. You wonder if maybe he's having some sort of issues with traction on the court, as he's really struggled anytime he's tried to drive with the ball.
Yeah, that would be the only real explanation for the change of the shoes, but does still seem to have a few issues.
Foul called there against Patembo Baruti, the 6'6" sophomore from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. That's going to be his second foul of the afternoon. 2 on Baruti, 2 on Zachary, 2 on Oladapo on the floor right now, 2 on Jackson, Hamlet, and Duarte is your foul total for your players on the court. The inside pass from my man Eric Vila with a sweet little teardrop one-handed, his best Kareem impression there, J-Mac.
So soft and sweet. Just you see it just rips the net apart as it goes through.
Malik Zachary with a long jumper there. 61-45 now in favor of the Raiders after that shot from Zachary. Pass over to Tyree. Tyree working that three-point line, trying to get Duarte open on the inside. There's a screen to Vila. Over to Duarte. Duarte plays off the screen. He'll drive, kicks it back to the corner. Hamlet had a three, but passed on it. Inside to Tyree, and ooh, that's a big foul there. Down hard goes Sheikh Faye from the Senegal. He tried to go up to contest Tyree Jackson. Jackson didn't leave the ground, and Faye went right over the head of Tyree. Came down hard. Fortunately, was able to brace himself before he got to the hardwood, but that is going to be a ground floor foul against him.
Yeah, no real opportunity to try to get the ball up on that one. Not when you've got 6 foot 8 inches on top of your head.
And one of the things we talked about last week, and we saw Hamlet do it right there, this is a very unselfish Raider basketball team, to the point that sometimes they kick open wide open looks in order to try to get the ball in low and create higher percentage shots. Hamlet had a wide open three down here and decided, instead of taking the three from the corner, to try to drive the lane. Look at Eric Vila for three. Oh, he can't get it to go in and out for the big man.
Yeah, you definitely would have liked to have seen Hamlet take that last wide open shot when he had the opportunity. Maybe a little too unselfish at times.
Tough play from Patembo Baruti, who gets the offensive rebound and put back around Eric Vila. Brings his team to within 61-47. Duarte to Tyree Jackson. Jackson's going to drive. The step back three for Tyree. No good off the front of the iron. And Tyree started 2 for 2, but 2 for 4 since then. There's the inside pass. Vila goes up hard, and it's a foul. A foul on Malik Zachary. Tried to go through the back of Chris Duarte, and that's going to be a foul call.
Yeah, it looked like he was kind of holding Duarte down there a little bit, but yeah, Duarte still got it with the offhand. Draws the foul.
Kane Henry on for a substitution. He'll give Tyree Jackson a spell. Jackson's been playing hard, missed his last 2 three-pointers and took that hard foul underneath the basket, so he'll get the opportunity to go to the bench and let those legs rest for just a few minutes. Kane Henry, of course, we mentioned earlier, kind of a utility player, able to really play any position on the floor. He's going to give a spell. How about Hamlet? Just walks it in, but he can't get the layup to fall off the glass. Great play, great drive, but Hamlet just too strong at the glass.
Yeah, right there, point blank. Just couldn't knock it down, but just such a great job of getting to the basket, man. I'm just in awe of that kid and his ability to get to the rim.
That's going to be foul on that's going to be a foul on Noah Morgan. The drive around the right-hand side of the baseline, and Morgan grabbed the arm on the way by. That's his second of the afternoon. Inbound pass to the corner and the reset of the offense by Sheikh Faye. He'll drive, quick pass across the block. The pass is to the inside and blocked, but a foul called That one's going to go against Eric Vila, the 6'11 redshirt sophomore from Spain. It's going to be Vila's first foul on the afternoon. Number 13, Daniel Oladapo will head to the line. Oladapo's still in there. Has struggled somewhat from the floor for the majority of the evening. He's 2 of 6, 0 of 2 from 3 points, but he's 2 of 3 from the stripe. He'll try to add to that total here. Now we see why Tyree went to the floor. Looks like he blew out a sole on one of those Nikes, so sends the runner to the back and gets himself a fresh pair of Jordans to lace up on the bench. I imagine Tyree will head back onto the court as soon as he gets those new black and red Jordans laced.
Yeah, something tells me those are not Raider-issued team shoes. You know, but I did notice on that last 3 that he did slip and he grabbed the bottom of that shoe. So I remember playing with a guy that played here at Northwest Florida State College. His name was Sherman Puller, one of the best ball players to ever grace Northwest Florida. And we were playing a game at Choctaw, and his foot, we used to wear Converse back then, Rob. Do you remember those?
Yeah, you're older than I am, but yeah, I do.
His foot came clear through the front of that shoe. Shoe was up around his calf muscle. You got to be careful with these shoes, baby.
I have to say, some of the footwear we've seen out here on the floor lately, right in front of us, number 3, Malik Zachary, rocking those purple, pink, and lime green Nikes. You've had the bright pink and turquoise of Noah Morgan, the bright green of Oladapo over there. You got the red kicks over on the far bench. Even Coach DeMayo out here in the lime greens tonight. I got to say the footwear choice on the floor for the Raiders this evening is, well, shall we say bright.
Very much so. And then you got Vila, like we talked about him just being the big fundamental. He keeps it real all the way down to the shoes, Rob.
The plain whites with just the one slight little Nike blue check on the side and nothing else.
They almost resembled the Spice Adams Nike Monarchs.
Those I do remember.
Cream Biggles.
Yep, that's right.
He wears them, wore them in the All-Star game. They're deadly.
Duarte knocks down the free throw there. 63-48 lead for the home team. Remember the original Nike Airs that came out that just had the word Air all the way across the side? Those were the first Nikes I ever owned.
Extremely bulky.
It's like wearing a pair of Jeeps on your feet.
Middle school at Pryor, I started wearing the very first Reebok pumps. Best pair of shoes I've ever had.
For what it's worth, I was in kindergarten when those came out. There's the pass to the corner, and the three-pointer is up and good for Jake Fay.
Well, I was in 8th grade, so.
14 minutes left on the clock here. Raiders are up by a dozen. They threatened to go up by 20 at the end of the first half, but the lead is point by point, falling back down to 12. Out to the corner, Kane Henry for 3. Book that one, number 14 for the 3. We told you he's a threat. You give him space, and Kane Henry will make you pay inside or out, and Chipola learned that lesson the hard way.
Absolutely. Kane Henry, I love it. He makes the absolute most of the minutes he gets when he's on the floor.
Around the perimeter it goes. Three-point effort up from Malik Zachary. No good. Rebounded by Hamlet. Inside to Vila for the jam. Look at Chris Duarte with the John Stockton quick pass, and Eric Vila finds the canister.
It just looks so natural for Duarte. You watch him, you know, and he's a young man that's headed to Oregon after he finishes his career here at Northwest Florida State College, and they're going to get a great ball player in Duarte.
Duarte's so versatile. He can go on the elbow and really give you the opportunity to distribute through him. He can play the perimeter. But one thing about Chris Duarte is not only can he shoot, but his vision and, more importantly, the touch he puts on the basketball. Every pass he throws is exactly the pass he needs. You very rarely see the ball ricocheting out of guys' hands because it's too hard. You very rarely see the passes getting tipped because they're too soft. He knows how to pass the ball, as Eric Vila is fouled hard underneath. Yeah, Oregon's getting something special out of Chris Duarte, a guy who really knows how to put the ball in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about Duarte, I think about that saying, everybody else is playing checkers, he's playing chess, right? Or does that go the other way around? The kid's just got such a high basketball IQ. He gets the ball, he already pretty much knows where he wants to go with it, like that last possession. Such a smooth ball player.
Eric Vila will head to the stripe after this timeout is called with 12:38 left to play here in the second half. That last foul called on Keyshawn Bruton, his second of the day, the 6'2 sophomore guard from Spartanburg, South Carolina. And Again, what we're looking at out of this Raider team right now is, despite that lead having shrank down to a dozen, it's going back up to 15 now, and they seem to have all the momentum after that Duarte pass to the inside. Eric Vila playing very confident basketball in the middle right now, and how could he not? They're getting the ball to Eric Vila in all the right spots, and he's finishing every time.
No doubt about it, man. He just does such a great job. He's always great hands, if you notice. Great receiver of the basketball. Then he knows what to do with it when it's in his hands.
Here's what's impressive, Jeff McDonald. If you look across the stat sheet, the numbers really don't indicate a game that's been as far apart as 19 points. From the free throw line, the only difference really, 17 efforts, 13 successes for the Raiders, 6 of 9 from the stripe are the Indians. But other than that, the numbers are similar. 5 of 20 from behind the arc go the Indians, 5 of 17 for the Raiders, 21 of 49 for Chipola, 25 of 41 for the Raiders. So the field goal percentage a little bit better, 61% to 43% in favor of the Raiders. But for the most part, turnovers, assists, steals, they're all really close, these two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. But then when you do look at the stat sheet, the thing that does stand out is you notice that Northwest Florida doing a great job of playing solid defense, not fouling. You know, we've only sent them to the line a few times compared to we've had 17 attempts, so 13 makes, 6 for Chipola. So there's a good part of your difference right there.
Official over in front of the Chipola bench, wiping up some liquid off the floor. That's the delay here as Eric Vila sits at the stripe ready to go. We've got a substitution here in just a moment as looks like Vila's going to get a breather as Anthony Mason crouches in front of the scorer's table ready to go. You got Trey Diggs on the floor now as well. Niceville zone alongside Chris Duarte, Kane Brown, and Tyree Jackson will be your 5 Raiders alongside Anthony Mason when he replaces Eric Vila if this free throw is good. Which it is, so he'll get his second opportunity.
You know, one of the things that I probably want to point out about Eric Vila being that he is from Spain, and it's something I've noticed over the last years here, is that you see these young men that are coming from overseas, from Europe, they get over here and they really do know how to play the game, and fundamentally, they're the best you'll see.
Yeah, the international game a lot more based on, like you mentioned, those fundamentals than the American game, which over the past couple of years has really developed into just speed and athleticism on the hardwood, as the three-pointer there is good from Sheikh Faye. Vila 3 of 3 from the stripe, 8 of 10 from the floor so far. The significant stat, 0 of 2 from the three-point line, but both of them were close, and I'll give the 6'11" man credit. Both of them close. Anthony Mason up top alongside Tyree Jackson. The kick to Tyree. Tyree's going to shoot the high arcing jumper. Gets the friendly bounce. Tyree Jackson back on the board for the Raiders.
Tyree just does a great job just elevating that shot over the outreach hands of the big man down low for Chipola.
Drive and the kick underneath to number 10. That's Christian Lorne, the big man from Paris. He can't get the right touch off the glass, but he does draw the foul. That one's going to go against number 5, Chris Duarte, his 3rd of the day. So I will assume Chris Duarte will probably sub out here for at least a couple of minutes with 3 fouls to his name. They're going to save him just in case this game does get more competitive down the stretch. 72-56 your score right now with 11:49 left to play in the basketball contest. Do it, that a boy. The kiss cam in play.
Move that.
Another young couple right there. Make your move, big man. Oh, look at that. Oh, you like the arch?
That's probably a...
Oh, come on, there you go. Don't be embarrassed, young lady. It's only the thousands in attendance and millions watching around the world here on EmeraldCoastTV.com.
Nice.
The kiss cam on the building.
I think they're
the one on the cheek. There you go.
There we go.
I saw a game once where a fella, they did the kiss cam, and he reaches around the girl, picks his hand up, and he's got a beer in his hand, and he starts, and it's just, that's how kiss cam works.
Yes. I love it. Looks like we got someone up here behind us. There you go, buddy. Good job.
Oh, Raider fans getting involved in the action here at Northwest Florida State College. Raider Arena, the home of your Raider men's and women's basketball team. Oh, look at the daughters calling out the parents. You gotta like that.
Took some convincing, man. Come on.
All right, let's get back to basketball. 11:48. My man, put down the Red Bull. Put that. She's looking at you. Put down. All right. Well, we tried. 11:49 on the clock as you get a look there. Coach Steve DeMayo and the Raider bench. Hang on to a 16-point lead here as number 10, Christian Lawrence, heads to the line. He was fouled before that timeout, so an opportunity to shoot a couple from the stripe. Lawrence first is up and good. Good touch on the basketball for Christian Lawrence. You don't really see that type of touch out of a big man who's got the thickness that he does, those brute players underneath, but Lawrence got a really good touch on those free throws.
Yeah, he certainly does. You know, interesting to look up at the scoreboard. We get 72-58, 14-point lead right now. Really haven't extended this lead over the last 6-7 minutes. Just trading baskets right now, Rob, with Chipola.
11:48 left to go. Here comes Tyree Jackson in a foot race up the middle, but he gets the ball knocked out of his hands and stolen away by Cheek Fay. Fay's got a fast break. He's going to kick it over. Up for the dunk goes Cameron Gooden, but he can't get it. Tyree Jackson knocks the ball out of his hand, but grabs hand too. Tyree disagrees. He said it was a clean block. The referee says he got them on the arm. So Cameron Gooden will head to the line to shoot a pair after the block dunk.
Yeah, pretty close one. But you know what? If you ever ask me if I fouled someone, Rob, what do you think my answer is going to be?
Not a chance.
No.
Not once in my career.
I didn't foul him. Didn't do it.
Gooden's free throw is up, and ball don't lie, says Tyree Jackson as it hits the back of the arm and bounces out. Substitution not coming for the Raiders is Javion Hamlet, who has had a decent game so far, is going to head back into the game. He's 6 of 9 from the floor and 2 of 2 from the stripe, 1 of 2 from the arc. Good for 15 points on the day is Hamlet. And Kane Henry, the substitute utility player, heads back to the bench. Gooden's first free throw, no good. Second free throw is all strings that time, and the lead back down to 13 now for the Raiders. Inside to Mason, he's going to head up to Duarte. Duarte was looking to find Trey Diggs in the corner, but the defense collapses, and the Raiders will set up that half-court offense once again in the waiting arms of Javion Hamlet. Diggs sets the screen over to Diggs. Diggs is going to drive baseline looking for Mason. Nothing there. He'll pull it back out over to Hamlet. Hamlet resets. Fakes the drive left and right. Fakes the three. Pulls the ball up, and that time travels. Pump step 3 times, and on the third one, that pivot foot slid just enough for the official to call the travel. By the way, we mentioned the Emerald Coast Classic Thanksgiving weekend right here at Northwest Florida State College. Florida State, Purdue, Tennessee, and VCU all coming to town. That is a host of teams that could all end up in the tournament next year if things keep going well. Florida State with a heartbreaking loss to Duke by a point earlier today.
Yeah, Rob, I had the opportunity to be the PA announcer for that tournament this year. I'm telling you, fantastic event. They really do a tremendous job, and Northwest Florida State College is serving as the host, just does a fantastic job as well from top to bottom. Fabulous event. Do not want to miss that next year. That lineup is going to be incredible.
Duke knocks off Florida State today. For a little while, it looked like FSU was going to get the win, and Tennessee fans thought they were going to be the #1 in the country. On that list of teams we just read there, Jeff McDonald, come to the Emerald Coast Classic. You've got a pair of teams inside the top 15 that are going to be here next year.
Yeah, absolutely. With that Florida State and Tennessee. It's going to be a great tournament. And even the smaller schools that come are just great, fun to watch.
VCU's been in the tournament 3 or 4 of the last handful of years, so they're not, I mean, the smaller schools are still tournament teams as that three-point effort is no good in the corner from Gooden. Rebounded, comes the other way by Chris Duarte. Duarte's going to drive to the middle, kicks it over to Mason, and the two-hand tomahawk alley-oop to Anthony Mason from Chris Duarte has the fans on their feet again.
Beautiful, beautiful, great communication. Again, like we talked about with Duarte, just so smart, just beautiful pass up there. You know, that lob pass is not always easy. It's not something that comes natural to everybody. He just laid it up there just perfect.
One of the things you'll see out of a guy like Chris Duarte is he communicates not just with his body, but with his eyes. He has a way of looking at guys, and both teams, he can draw defenses one way and then throw the no-look. On that play, as he's driving the line, you could see him look at Mason as he's jumping into the air and throw his eyes up at the basket. Mason, who was standing still, makes a run at the basket, and all of a sudden, here's a beautiful lob pass for you to throw down, young man.
Bottom.
That's Chris Duarte again. Jeff McDonald calls it. All strings as Duarte knocks down a 3, and the Raiders now back up by 18.
Yeah, you can tell Duarte's starting to feel it as you see number 13 from Chipola, knocking down an easy one there. Daniel Oladipo.
Gets the two-handed quick little putback to try to kill off the momentum after that Chris Duarte 3. There's Duarte and Tyree Jackson, two of the better three-point shooters on this floor this evening, as Jackson slips but maintains his footing, working one-on-one against Keyshawn Bruton. And he and Bruton are going to have some words for each other there after that defense. Good defense from Bruton, good offense from Tyree Jackson. The foul called on number 4, Keyshawn Bruton's going to reset this offense, and there you have it again, 1 and 4 jawing at each other, and I don't think you're going to see that stop for the remainder of this game. Those two have been in each other's heads since the opening tip.
No, I think all that Bruton's really proved tonight is that he can talk well. He hasn't done much to back it up, but right now he's doing a good job of getting inside the Raiders' heads, taking their focus off of what they need to do, and that's finish this ball game.
Bruton 3 of 10 from the field, 1 of 5 from the arc. It has not visited the line so far this evening. Just a pair of rebounds as well to go. He's also had a turnover to contribute. So lots of jarring out of Keyshawn Bruton. Not a lot up on the scoreboard to show for it, as he'll head to the bench now. Double foul call just a moment ago, and that's going to be Bruton's first of the afternoon. It'll reset the Raider offense. Tyree heads to the bench as well. Eric Vila back to Hamlet. Hamlet's going to reset the offense alongside Trey Diggs. Noah Morgan. Long three-pointer is up and no good off the iron, and the rebound brought down by Oladapo. We'll head back the other way. Inside pass to Oladapo. He's going to make the move. Goes up to the rack. Oh, Eric Vila. No, sir, not in my house. Number 10 with a big slot there. Passes it over to Diggs. Diggs to Duarte. Duarte's going to drive baseline over to Vila. Vila waits and is fouled from behind on his way up by Batumba Barudi. So Eric Vila is going to head to the stripe to shoot a couple there on the shooting foul. Good possession there. You had a number of passes around. Trey Diggs found Chris Duarte in the corner. Duarte knew if he drove, the defense would collapse. They did, and he finds Eric Vila on the backside. Great ball movement out of the Raiders.
Yeah, you know, you move the ball, good things happen, especially when you get it in the hands of Chris Duarte, and he takes it to the bucket. Always does a great job either getting his shot or finding the open man, Rob.
Officiating conference taking place at the stripe here as Vila waits for his opportunity to shoot a couple. Not entirely sure what we have here. The official is sending both teams back to their benches for the moment as we talk it over up top, the free throw, or excuse me, the three-point line on the Raider side of the court here. Official's going to call both coaches over to the scorer's table, so I assume we're going to have a conference to tell the head coaches, tell your fellows to chill out just a little bit. This is not the time of the game to have them getting too hot, but waiting to see if we can get an official word, Jeff McDonald, about happening. I don't know if you have any inclination about what's happening here. It looked to me like Vila got fouled pretty heavy under the basket, but now we've got the officials out there pointing in both directions, so not really sure what's going to happen here.
Yeah, let's see if we can find out what's going on.
Left to play. It's a 16-point basketball game, 77-61 on the scoreboard here. We've got a message sent over to our scorers table to see if we can get an explanation of exactly what happened there. Looks like we're going to have a technical foul, perhaps, as Tyree Jackson is lined up at the free throw stripe to shoot a free throw. Again, still waiting on an explanation to find out what happened here. Tyree has checked in to shoot the free throw. He was on the bench. Trey Diggs, who was on the floor, went back to the sideline and is now set to check in. Get an explanation from the score table that the last foul should have been a 1-and-1, but the officials missed it. So this will be, I guess, a make-up 1-and-1, I guess is what we're doing here. So Tyree Jackson heads to the line. He was the one. Oh, he was. So we drew the foul. That's what it was.
Right,
there was
right.
the foul called between him and Keyshawn Brewer because Brewer put Northwest Florida State into the 1-and-1. They've called Tyree back from the bench to shoot his 1-and-1 to make up what was for the missed bonus call. Now Eric Vila will go to the stripe and get his 2 free throws for the basket that he was fouled on underneath. So that's what the official call is. Thanks to Tommy Brissell and the stat crew over on the other side for keeping us straight. So the referee simply made a mistake there and corrected it. Well done on them to catch it and get that situation fixed. So here's Eric Vila. Vila misses the first one off to the left and bounces out. Thanks to, again, our head official who came over here just a moment ago to explain to us what was going on. We very much appreciate that effort.
You know, really been a clean ball game tonight. A little bit of trash talk, Rob, but if you look up at the fouls, you know, not too many. We're now in the double bonus if you're here. If you're, you know, the Raiders, Chipola with over 10 fouls, Raiders with 6 fouls. But first half we were light in the foul area. So really been a good clean game, obviously. Just a little bit of jawing, not much. So not much to complain about from that perspective.
17 fouls to 12 fouls. Indians have committed more. Eric Vila for 3. Get it, young man. Oh, he's going to get one. He's pulled 3. He's 0 for 3. All 3 of them have gone in and out, though. He's not missing by much, Jeff McDonald. For a 6'11", that's impressive.
He's got some nice touch, but I would say he's got one more shot.
Yeah.
You got to knock one down, baby. I'm gonna get mine, as they say.
Last game, he was 1 for 2 from the stripe. I believe he got one on the road in their last game as well. So Vila's got the touch. And I'll say this. Vila's one of those guys that you don't, if it's that wide open, I don't mind him taking a look. He's got the touch. He's made a couple this year, and it really does force the defense to stay honest. If you can't, all right, he's 6'11", he's not going to shoot. We'll leave our big man underneath. Nope, not the fact. He will pull that thing from out there. So I really don't mind Eric Vila shooting that 3 if it's open and uncontested like the last couple have been.
Yeah. It's not a bad-looking shot. Might be a little flat. Let's see. Let's get a little air underneath it, but I'd let him shoot it.
Hard at 6'11" when you hit that jump shot when your hand's almost level with the rim to
throwing darts.
Yes, indeed. We're back the other way. 79-63 your score over to Vila. Vila thought about trying to get it to Kane Henry or Trey Diggs in the corner, but they were stacked on top and loaded up the defense. So we'll reset with Hamlet at the top running the point. Over to Noah Morgan. Morgan sets up looking for Vila on the inside. Kane Henry for 3. No good. Off the iron, can't get the glass. Rebound from Hamlet, and it's off of Hamlet's left hand. Good effort, good hustle from Jeremy Hamlet to get in there, but ball goes off his left arm, and it'll be a Chipola basketball.
Raiders really doing a great job of breaking that press, so really ineffective right now for the Indians. Raiders seem to break it down fairly easily and then getting it back into their half-court set.
Raiders in that man-to-man half-court defense here, not really trying to pressure Chipola too much and change the tempo of this game. Dribbling around the top is Malik Zachary resetting the offense, and that's going to be a travel called against Sheik Fay, who's had a decent game so far, but just a mental mistake there.
Yeah, once again, you got to get that ball on the floor before you take those steps.
7.5 minutes just under remaining here in the basketball game. Here's Hamlet working the right side. Up to Vila, but it gets blocked and knocked out of the way. Pass maybe just a little too strong, and Sheik Fay able to get his hands up there. The drive into the lane, no good. Kicked around by Fay. He's going to kick it out to number 22. That's Cameron Gooden. Long three-point effort is no good and rebounded by Vila back the other way.
Oh, some great agility from the big man. Took that nice Euro step, got to the basket, didn't finish, but man, the agility on the big man is strong.
19 points for Eric Vila so far to go with 9 rebounds. He is threatening the double-double so far. Morgan with the pass to Vila, kicks it back to Morgan, and we have got a double dribble called against Noah Morgan from the backside official.
I don't even know how he saw the...
No, to be honest with you, we were kind of at the same angle directly behind the official looking into the lane where Noah Morgan went, and I couldn't even see Noah Morgan drive. I saw him flash to the basket. I didn't know he even received the pass till he was already at the rim, so not quite sure where that official saw that, and the hometown crowd lets him know they agree. So a turnover, just the 8th turnover for the Raiders so far. There's a long three-pointer in and out, no good, rebounded by Trey Diggs. And here comes Jimmy on Hamlet to reset the offense. Morgan, Vila, Diggs, and Henry all on the court alongside Javion Hamlet. He'll work over to the left-hand side, roll the defense that way. Drives to the lane and goes up left-handed off the glass. Sweet run. We've mentioned Hamlet has the ability to turn any drive into a beautiful layup, and he does it there.
Yeah, moves them up to 17. Number 2 on the scoreboard for us behind Vila with 19.
This three-pointer is no good. Chikfe has been tossing those up all night long and has really struggled so far. He is, as of right now, shooting 2 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 7 from the three-point line is Chikfe, but still tossing him up there. Those darts aren't falling, though. 24% from the arc so far is Chipola. 28.6% are the Raiders. The only difference is the number attempted so far. The Indians have attempted 21 three-pointers, 17 for the Raiders. Both teams have made 5 so far. So not a great night from behind the arc for these two teams.
No, not at all. For some reason, it just seems when you're sitting here watching the game, you're looking at it, it looks like maybe the Indians would have a worse performance, but really they're neck and neck from behind the arc. Definitely want to see some improvement there. Anything below 40%, 35% is not a great night. So 26%, that's pretty rough.
It's, again, like we mentioned, if you look number by number, you're talking about a pair of teams that, for the most part, are similar. The only thing you can really point out is that the Raiders do have a slight advantage in pretty much every statistical category. 23 of 58 from the floor are the Indians, 29 of 50 are the Raiders, so the field goal percentage is much better so far for the Raiders. In the second half so far, 52.6% from the floor to 37.5% for the Indians. The Indians are 6 of 25 from the three-point line, 6 of 21 are the Raiders. From the free throw stripe, 11 of 15 go the Indians, 17 of 23 are the Raiders. Overall in turnovers, 10 turnovers for the Indians, 8 for the Raiders, and rebounds were all square at 30 apiece. So while there's not a mass difference in any one particular statistical category, as of right now, the Raiders do hold an edge in basically all of them.
I'm just sitting here watching Hamlet and Trey Diggs giving the ref a little piece of their mind in a fun way about that double dribble call.
So there's Noah Morgan at the stripe, throws up the first one and well short, draws front iron. A little disappointed there, and again, this is one of those teams, and we've talked about this, and I think they get this from Coach Nemeo, a team that does wear its emotions on its sleeve, which can be to the benefit or detriment depending on what's happening. When this team gets on a roll and they start getting excited, they feed off of each other, and it becomes a feeding frenzy, and everybody gets on the action. On the flip side, when they get down, a couple of quick turnovers, a couple of missed free throws, they start getting down. They feed off of that as well, and that's when we've seen Pensacola State last week, Chipola in the first half. Other teams suddenly go on these 10, 12-point runs that close the gap significantly, something that Northwest Florida State's going to really have to deal with moving forward.
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't seen much of that here tonight in the second half. For me, just sitting back watching this game in the second half, I just love the chemistry that I see on this team. These guys, just the way they communicate, you talked about it, just with their eyes, the nod of the head, just the different things that they do, the way they just read each other. It's really amazing. It's fun to watch.
That is Eric Vila's 10th rebound of the night, so he officially has the double-double to go along with his 19 points. If he can come up with 10 steals in the past 5 minutes, he'll have the triple-double.
Yeah. Hamlin once again, a great screen there by Vila, just opening things up for Hamlin to get to the basket. Hamlin, if you watch him with both hands, man, he's great with the left or the right. Very smooth either way.
Driving pass over to number 5, Ibrahim Sankari, but he can't finish, and so it'll be Hamlet leading his offense back the other way. Slows it down to give Vila time to go get set up and look for that screen. Vila playing more of an free throw extended post position right now, running back and forth, trying to help guys set screens. Pass over to Trey Diggs. Diggs thought about going baseline, but pulls it back out because of the quick defense of the Indians. Here's Hamlet resetting with 5 on the shot clock. Hamlet's going to drive, goes up and under left-handed, but he can't get it to go. Aaron Vila with the putback, he can't finish either, and it's an Indian basketball. There's a pass inside, and a good pass to number 5, Ibrahim Sakari, the 6'7" sophomore guard from Senegal. That foul's going to be called on number 11, Trey Diggs. It is his first foul of the evening. Diggs has a pair of points and 3 rebounds as well. Diggs will check out of the game. Chris Duarte will get back onto the floor. Duarte has so far 4 of 8 from the floor, 2 of 5 from the three-point line, 17 points to his credit as of this point in time.
Yeah, I imagine we'll get Duarte back in there for a couple minutes, really seal this thing, and you'll see the Raiders begin to clear the bench, get these guys out there and get them some action, close this game out.
19-point basketball game, 4.5 left to play, and it hasn't really felt like Chipola was going to get back into this thing, at least in a while. Back at the end of the first half, it was feeling like Chipola might be able to get something going as Duarte hits the spinning jumper, but it won't go and gets tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Raiders, it appears. It looked like at the end of the first half, Chipola might be able to pull enough long threes to keep this thing competitive, but for the past 8 or so minutes, it's really just felt like the Raiders have been keeping them at an arm's length, and there's not really much Chipola's been able to do about it.
Yeah, you know, Chipola's continue to score the basketball. The problem is they just can't stop Northwest Florida.
Trading baskets, and this is the point where you can't do that if you're Chipola. Look at the pass to Kane Henry, but he can't hang on to it. Went for the alley-oop over the top, but it did not go, and the ball ends up bouncing out of bounds off of Kane Henry's hand. So it'll go back to Chipola. Looked like we were going to get another one of those plays the game out of Kane Henry off the alley-oop, but just not enough height with a Chipola player between him and the iron. Chipola trying to reset the offense, and Chris Duarte with a steal. Duarte's going to come back the other way and take it up himself with the right-handed putback. Chris Duarte, 19 points on the night. Give him another steal as well.
Yeah, Duarte, I told you, they're going to bring him in, finish this thing off, close it out.
Foul called on Eric Vila underneath. It was a battle between him and Christian Long. Long was just hopping backwards, and Vila's hand came up and hand-checked him. So he's going to go to the free throw line now as the Raiders and the Chipola Indians are both in the double bonus for the final 3:47 of this game. Lawrence first free throw bounces in. Chipola now back within 20 points. Second free throw, no good. This one rattles in and out, but almost an offensive rebound for Chipola there as number 13, Daniel Oladapo, was willing to go to the ground, but just could not hang on a possession. So here's Chris Duarte calling out plays. Kane Henry on the screen and roll. Henry had an opportunity to three, thinks better of it, drives and goes up with the left hand, but it won't go. And that's going to be on Duarte over the back. Easy foul call there as Chris had 2 Chipola Indians between him and the rebound there. So that's going to be Duarte's 4th foul of the afternoon, and he looks like he will be subbed out for as Anthony Mason's checking in. So, yep, Chris Duarte will head to the bench with his 4th foul of the night, 19 points to show for his efforts today. Don't know if we'll see Duarte make his way back out on the floor, but if he does end it, 19 and 11 rebounds to his credit this evening. Good game for Chris Duarte. Loring hits the first of the double bonus free throws.
Rob, I think you gave Duarte Vila's rebounds right there, brother. They had just taken him out of the game.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. I did. They flipped the.
But no, we've got 3 guys up there on the stat board with 19 points. That's what I just love about this team. So many guys can kill you. So pick your poison.
Inbound pass to Javion Hamlet. And again, the Raiders at this point happy to just let the clock tick, tick, tick and use every second of that shot clock. 20 seconds above the rim showing. Here's Vila working the screen up top alongside Anthony Mason, the 2 big mans on the roster. Inside, look at Vila to Kane Henry, and Henry couldn't get the possession, and we talked about Duarte's touch on the pass. Eric Vila lasered that thing in there, and Kane Henry lost the grip on it. If he could have one-touched it, that's likely a pair of points as the three-point effort's no good, but Kane Henry had to dribble it down to maintain control and misses as the short jumper from Malik Zachary is good. 16-point ball game, 2:45 left to play, and again, while it's felt relatively comfortable, this is not the time to let off the gas pedal if you're the Raiders and let this team climb back in. Look at Eric Vila with the quick little putback. When he goes up, he's just got just a soft touch from underneath the basket.
I mean, it's everything. It's the footwork, it's the touch, it's just a great ball player.
Double-double on the board for Eric Vila. That's his 21st point, 12 rebounds to go with it as well. A good night on the boards for the Spaniard. His team up 18 with 2.5 left to play on the clock. And again, Jeff, we talked about it at the end of the first half. Not a whole heck of a lot to really be disappointed in by this Raider team so far this evening. They've done relatively well from the three-point line. They've done relatively well shooting free throws. Not a lot of turnovers to be shown. I mean, only 8 turnovers on the game so far. Maybe could have been a little more aggressive creating the turnovers, but for the most part, really not a lot to be upset about out of this Raider team.
No, not at all. I don't think, like I said before, there's not really a weak spot. Maybe in the second half, maybe a few more defensive stops, but all in all, great ball game from the Raiders. Nothing that you could really pick apart tonight.
2.5 minutes separating Northwest Florida State College from improving to 3-0 in conference play, dropping Chipola to 1-1. TCC is 1-1 in conference. Pensacola State College 0-1, and Gulf Coast State College 0-2 in conference. If this result holds true, Northwest Florida State will be the only undefeated team left in the conference. Big three-point shot there is knocked down by number 4, Keyshawn Bruton, who has talked a lot during this game, not really done a lot. That's really the first three-pointer he's knocked down, and really the first impressive basket he's had since this game began.
Yeah, we beat that one like a drum, but he kind of, every time you look up, he's jawing with somebody.
Foul called on the layup there against for Malik Zachary. That one's going to be called, it appears, on Javion Hamlet. That's going to be his 4th foul of the afternoon. So he is now 1 away from heading back to the bench. And checking in for the Raiders, Sam Baker. Baker, a 6'4" sophomore guard from St. Paul, Minnesota. This is Baker's first action of the evening.
Yeah, that time of the game where you clear the bench, you get everybody in, everybody gets some action here tonight.
Zachary knocks down the first of a pair. Lead back down to just 14 now. And again, we've seen that lead go upwards of 20. It was been down as small as just 3 for the Raiders at one point. Foul called there on the rebound. That one's going to be against Chipola over the back of Eric Vila against number 13, Daniel Oladapo. Oladapo's now got 3 to his name. Sankari has 4 for Baruti as well. Eric Vila started this game very well from the free throw line, knocked down his first 3, but missed the last 2, so he's looking to rectify that and stick a fork in this one. First free throw is no good, in and out, rims around, and you can see the frustration on his face as, again, he's been a very respectable free throw shooter for a guy at 6'11", but the last handful of efforts just not gone his way. Second one is good, all strings, and he gives himself a little pat on the back. Baker on the floor alongside Hamlet, Vila. Wow. And that three-pointer and the foul. Noah Morgan went up against Keyshawn Brewer and pushes him into the bench. So Brewer knocks down the 3 and has an opportunity to add a 4th to it, the rare 4-point play in college basketball.
Yeah, Bruton's starting to heat up here right at the end of the game. We're trying to seal it and just put it away, and he's starting to heat up, making it difficult.
Substitution coming. Noah Morgan heads to the bench. Niceville's own Trey Diggs will make his way back onto the floor as Morgan gets a smattering of applause from the Raiders fans here in Raider Arena. 12-point game now is Keyshawn Bruton making 11 points, trying to work his team back into this thing late, probably a little too late with a $1:47 showing on the clock. But again, we've seen these stretches that the Raiders men's and women's team have both gone on where they can give up 3 or 4 three-pointers in a quick succession, and all of a sudden the lead shrinks down to 4 or 5 before you even catch it. Over to Vila running the point. Bounces it back to Hamlet. 20 seconds on the shot clock here. Hamlet working one-on-one with Brewer. Now they send up for the double team. The inside pass to Vila, and he will put the exclamation point on his night. 24 points for Eric Vila after the two-hand slam. Great court awareness right there out of number 3, Javion Hamlet, who drove the lane, saw that Vila was left open on the backside after the double team, and a good slam there and put back.
Yeah, definitely great court vision from Hamlet. Such a great ball handler, so fluid from the left and the right hand.
20 seconds on the shot clock, a minute 2 on the game clock as Vila's up top, working alongside Hamlet. Vila unafraid to handle the basketball at the top of the key if he needs to, as he passed over to Diggs. Diggs did not, Hamlet didn't know Diggs was open, so he knocks it down, and that pass is tipped out of bounds by Oladapo. 48.4 on the clock, just 5 seconds on the shot clock on the inbound here for the Raiders as Hamlet pleading his case to the official.
Yeah, he believes he's being held, trying to get to the ball as the guard.
Long pass over to Hamlet. 4 on the shot clock. Hamlet drives and gets the ball knocked out of his hands by Keyshawn Bruton, who all of a sudden is having himself a big fourth quarter here. There's the pass over to Oladapo, and he drops it through. We're down to 7 points in the lead. 35 seconds on the clock, 27 on the shot clock for the Raiders as they're passing the ball all over the floor. No foul so far from the Indians until now. That's Batumba Baruti. That is going to be Baruti's 5th foul of the night. And so Baruti has fouled out of the contest and will head to the bench. Baruti's had himself a decent night so far, 11 points, 5 rebounds, and a couple of turnovers to his name. But that's how his night will come to its conclusion. Javion Hamlet at the charity stripe to knock down a couple. First one is up and no problem. All 4 of the non-shooting Raiders are back in the defensive capacity. Don't want to give up anything quick, and certainly no open threes to the Indians as the second free throw is good. It's an 11-point lead now, and here come the Indians. A quick drive to the basket for number 3. That's going to be Malik Zachary, and he gets that roller to go. 25 on the clock now. And there's a foul from Keyshawn Bruton. That is going to be Bruton's 4th. He's got one more to give before he heads to the bench.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Indians here, Rob, they're playing their best ball with the last 3 minutes to go.
Absolutely.
Knocking it down from everywhere.
If this Indian team that's been running the last couple of minutes and at one point cut a 20-point lead down to 7 with 2 minutes left to play, had they showed up somewhere in the first half, we might be talking about a different basketball game here.
Absolutely.
So Hamlet gets fouled on the inbound. Here's Javion Hamlet with his opportunity to extend the lead and try to put this thing away. First free throw is up and good. It's a 10-point lead.
Thanking the crowd. We appreciate you, Hamlet.
Appreciate you more when you're knocking down these free throws in the clutch.
Closing it out.
All right, so here's the inbound. That's going to be Malik Zachary bringing the ball down the floor. He's the one that went to the layup on the last one, floats that one inside and misses wildly. 3-point effort from the corner. It is no good, and the rebound brought down by Mason. Here's Trey Diggs. He's decided to pull it back and has Malik Zachary on his back to pass over. 5 seconds on the clock, and the Indians are just going to let this wind down. Pass over to Trey Diggs. Diggs' head was not on a swivel on that one, but it matters not. An 11-point victory as your Northwest Florida State College Raiders improve to 3-0 in Panhandle play, 17-2 overall as they get the victory at home over Chipola College. A solid night for your Raiders so far, Jeff McDonald. This team at home has done everything they've needed to do. Got a little questionable for the last few minutes of the second half there. But again, we said at the end of the first half, we'll say at the end of this one, not a whole heck of a lot that you would ask this team to do differently after this second victory at home.
No, not at all. They defended the ball well tonight. They played great defense. They did a great job getting buckets in transition out of the half-court set. Like we said earlier, not a whole lot we can really critique tonight. Maybe could have finished a little bit stronger there. Maybe got a few more stops on the defensive side of the ball, but all in all, great game by the Raiders tonight.
30 of 70 from the floor at Chipola, 33 of 61 go the Raiders, 8 of 29 from behind the arc, 6 of 22 for the Raiders, 16 of 24 from the stripe goes Chipola, 23 of 31 for the Raiders. Rebounds, Well, that story was a little bit different as the Indians actually on the glass, 39-37 overall. But it was all the little stats that made the difference. 6 steals in favor of the Raiders. Fewer turnovers as well. 9 turnovers for the Raiders to just 11 for the Indians. Again, for the most part, outside of the number of shots made versus taken, outside of field goal percentage and three-point percentage, in terms of the little stats, turnovers, steals, assists, the Raiders led all of them. Not by much. It was just a few here and there. But for the most part, a game that probably statistically looked much closer than the scoreboard would indicate.
Yeah, obviously the numbers don't lie, but the reality is that we walk away with a 9-point win tonight. The difference, big part of the difference being the makes from the free throw strike, Rob. Not a big difference in a 3-point makes. They obviously made 2 more than we did, but more shots made, 33 out of 61 compared to the 30 of 70. But really the difference, I think, is just Chipola could not get the stops they needed to get on the defensive side of the ball. They were scoring well, trading off baskets, but they couldn't get the stops that they needed to gain any ground.
Javion Hamlet, 23 points on 8 of 15 from the floor, 24 from your player of the night, in my opinion, Eric Vila. 24 points, 10 of 14 from the floor, 4 of 7 from the charity stripe. 0 of 3 from the three-point line, but nobody's holding that against him. He's 6'11". No. We'll take what we can get. But Eric Vila also ended up totaling 12 rebounds for the double-double as well. So a great night out of the Spaniard.
No, absolutely, no doubt. Then you got to look at Hamlet. Hamlet just did such a great job of controlling the action. Again, the thing about this team, Rob, is that pick your poison. Any given night, any guy can step up and run the show. Tyrese Jackson, you name it.
Any given night, any guy can. Sometimes 3 can. 19 out of Chris Duarte, 5 of 10 from the floor, 2 of 5 from the arc, but 7 of 8 from the charity stripe. We talked about that last game. The Raiders really struggled from the free throw line in the last game. This game, a little bit of a different story. 23 of 31, still a little room for improvement, but they hit him in the clutch when it counted. Late in the game, when that lead started coming from 20 down to 15, down to 10, down to 9, the Raiders went to the free throw line and knocked down the shot, specifically Javion Hamlet. We talked about him. Hamlet, 6 of 6 from the stripe, including 4 big ones at the very end of the game when a couple of fouls could have changed it up there. So overall, like we said, this is a game that I think we walk away from saying there's a few things we can do better if you're the Northwest Florida State College Raiders. The good news is there's a few things that can improve, not a lot and not by a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, tonight was just the Raiders' night, but you can't really rest on your laurels because we've got games left to play in the Panhandle Conference. As we looked earlier into the top 25 in the country, you've got that list littered with teams from the Panhandle Conference, 4 of them in the top 10. So it doesn't get any easier.
2 road games coming up for Northwest Florida State College. On the 16th, they'll be in Tallahassee, and on the 23rd, they'll be in Pensacola. Then we'll be back here at Northwest Florida State College Arena on the 26th of January, where we'll take on Gulf Coast College to try to maintain that undefeated streak if we win both road games right here at Raider Arena. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. For Jeff McDonald, thanks you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Always
My
a pleasure.
pleasure.
Mine always. I am Rob Brown. Thanks to R.J. Murdoch and his crew from Emerald Coast TV. You see them there on the screen, Max and Brandon and everybody here bringing you all of the action from Raider Arena. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Rob Brown. We'll see you back here in a couple of weeks for our next home matchup. Have a great night, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time right here on Emerald Coast TV.